Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father. I'm totally honored to bring you this interview with the former frontman of Pantera. Also, he's with Down, and now he's doing his solo stuff with the Illegals. The legendary, iconic Mr. Philip Anselmo. What's going on, man?
What's happening there, Bosworth?
Oh, just trying to beat the heat, man. Trying to beat the heat.
Good luck with that. Jesus H. Christ, fire is falling from the skies. It's so hot.
That's for sure. That is for sure. So you're doing your own stuff now with the Illegals. Let's talk about that a little bit. How did that come about? Why did you want to do some solo stuff?
Well, man, I'm the type of guy, I've done so many different projects with so many different bands, with so many different goddamn names. I figured it would simplify things just to call this one by my name, and so people know, so there's no confusion there, so they know where this crazy fucking music is coming from. So honestly, I wanted to do a record that was extreme, a very extreme record that is done perhaps differently, song structure-wise, because for me, music really has no rules. I think that is the freedom of music, is the fact that you can mess with it and screw up, so to speak, time signatures and whatnot, and make it something special, make it something different, make it something less traditional, because there's room for it. There's room for change in music, and that's fantastic. So I wanted to embrace all that stuff, and I wanted to make a record that was very hard to categorize, so to speak. I don't think it falls under really any subgenre you could come up with musically. I really don't. You can call it extreme metal, that's fair enough, but it's definitely not death metal or black metal or any other subgenre like that. So I wanted it to stick out like a sore thumb, and whether I've done that or not, I guess time will tell.
You're right, Phil, because music is so much a relief for people. I've said it before, and I can't say it enough unless you can experience it yourself, but music is so much a relief.
It is. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, for me especially, even, I guess you could call it therapy, so to speak. Mm-hmm. When you talk about release, it's better to write an aggressive song than to go out and smack somebody in the chops these days, I mean, who wants to get... Who feels like going to jail today? Not me. I'd rather write a brutal song any day.
Right. That's what I was going to ask next. Lyrically, what did this album do for you? To release a lot of stress, maybe release everything in you that you wanted to say, just for this solo record?
Well, man, honestly, this record is, I guess for me, it shows a different side to my personality, sort of, in ways, because I'm very sarcastic with certain things, and I'm tongue-in-cheek with a lot of things, and really, there are several songs written about me being frustrated with me. So there's a few songs on the record where I'm absolutely screaming at myself. There's no one that can frustrate you the way you can. It's like procrastination and laziness and all those things drive me crazy, because I'm the type of guy, if I'm just sitting around, there's always something in the back of my mind kicking me, saying, man, do something productive today. Do something to better anything, whether it be your health or whether it be write a song, write a story, do something, you crazy fool. So it's like, man, I'm always, I guess, I can't sit still. It drives me crazy.
Now, Bedridden, the first single off the Walkthrough Exits Only and plus Housecore Records, is this about you, man?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that's case in point. That's about me laying around like a lazy fool, and the other side of my mind beating the hell out of myself for doing it.
Now, you're a huge fan of music. I've seen some interviews that you've done, and you're just a big music nerd, just like I am. I love music just the same as everybody else.
Yep.
But underground music, Phil, do you think that the scene is underrated and overlooked?
What, underground music?
Yeah, underground music.
Is it overrated?
Well, no, not overrated, but do you think it's overlooked? Do you think people overlook it just because of the scene, or what's your opinion on that?
Oh, I don't know, man. I think to each his own, really. I think that, the underground has a vast audience over the globe, and whether it's overrated or underrated, for me, there's no way it's overrated because, one of my favorite things in the world is meeting and talking with people, new people like yourself, because there's always another band out there. Mm-hmm. Always more bands to learn about and learn from, too, depending on how complicated they may be or different or all that stuff. So for me, it's like it depends on the individual. Mm-hmm. I'm honestly, I'm the type of person, I really don't care what's in the mainstream at all. At all. I don't care about popularity contests. I don't care about who's selling more records at one point in time or not. All that shit's boring because I've been there and I've done those things, and I've had success with Pantera and Down. So it's like honestly, these days it's more about the quality than quantity for me. But then again, once you start delving into the underground, eventually you're going to find quantity because there's a lot of bands that are great out there and bands that I consider figurehead and cornerstone bands that lead the way. And then I think that there's innovators instead of imitators within the sub-genre. And then, of course, there's the bands that will see something they like, and instead of innovating on it, they will imitate on it. And then for me, that stuff gets pretty boring pretty quick. I like bands that are basically searching for the hidden notes and playing in less traditional ways, because I think right now in music we are in somewhat of a transitional period where bands are innovating like crazy within certain genres. And with that innovation, I think that we'll see more bands take a cue from the innovators and really try to create something that is fresh and new and perhaps even broaden the horizon all over. So, for me, these are very exciting times in music, man. The older I get, and the more I look to the underground for inspiration and for bands that I really, really, really like and admire, it keeps me young. It keeps me young, period.
Mm-hmm. That's what this show is designed for BODS Mayhem Hour. I put a lot of locals on this show.
Good. Support your local area, man. You got to. That's awesome.
Yeah. Because when I first designed this show, I said, there's a lot of good locals all over the world that some radio stations don't even give a crap about. They won't play nothing of them.
It's true, man. And it's guys like yourself that are helping propel certain bands that you feel that deserve the attention. So, brother, more power to you. I love it.
Thank you, man. That's a huge accomplishment for me coming from you. Thank you.
Hey, man, I mean it too. You know? I'm the type of guy who still supports black and white fanzines that are stapled together. So, you know, hey, man, I love it.
You know, it's like I've told all locals, even if your music is decent and this band over here is like 100%, you know, better, I don't care. You're still going to get played. There's no favoritism whatsoever, period.
Because bands will grow. Yep. And with that growth, it should be documented.
Yep.
And for you to give them that opportunity to be heard, you know, music is like food, man. You either like it, hate it, or indifferent to it, or learn to eventually like it and adapt. So for you to be playing bands that are lesser known, lesser skilled, lesser all around, it only will help them in the long run to grow. And once again, more power to you, my brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. What do you guys hope that the fans take away from walking through Exits Only? What do you hope they take from that?
Well, I hope they take from it that, especially the musicians out there and aspiring musicians, that you don't have to play by the rules. You don't have to play by anybody else's rules but your own. And you don't have to imitate your favorite two bands. Look, man, success in music as far as chemistry with your bandmates, you know, I think it's very important to take as many influences that you can and make them your own. Because if you take your favorite two bands, then you're pretty much going to sound exactly like these two bands and smash them together in one package. But if you take your favorite 20 to 30 bands, then something original will come out of that. Case in point would be Pantera. We took so many influences from classic stuff like Van Halen and anything from Van Halen to Slayer to Metallica to friggin' I guess more delicate sides of Black Sabbath, because Black Sabbath is a type of band to rip off very easily. But if you really listen to what Black Sabbath does a lot of times, like with Planet Caravan and Solitude and songs like that, you know, that's a whole different side to Black Sabbath. You know, you take all these influences and make them work for you, you know, instead of imitating. Expound on your influences. Take them and run with them and do more. And the more you do, the more originality will shine.
I think some bands are actually scared to go that route because they're afraid of what a certain genre is going to say about them. But who gives a crap? It's your music.
Hey, man, you know what? That's the thing right there. I don't want to be part of anybody's little club. I don't care. I've never needed this big movement around me of robots and of sheep, so to speak, and the herd mentality. It's boring, man. That's what makes things stale. The more you can step out on your own and make a statement that is original, you know, the louder you'll come across. You know, you don't need to imitate, and you don't need to be part of anybody's friggin' club once again, you know, or genre of music. It's after a while, once again, it's imitation, and it's fucking boring.
Yeah, I can't stress that enough. It's your music. Do what you want, and who cares?
Exactly, because you will find an audience.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said, the taste of food is an acquired thing, just like music. And put it this way, I like bands that other people think are absolutely terrible. So I like bad music. You know, I love it, to tell you the truth. And I love, you know, people can, you know, and who's to say what's bad or not? That's the point.
There you go. To each is their own. You like what you like, man. Period.
Bingo.
I'll tell you what. Now, Dimebag Darrell had talked about Marzi and introduced you to Marzi. How did the rest of the band come together, Phil, for the Illegals?
Well, you know, I always knew Marzi was my guy on guitar. So I wanted to write the music that I did to benefit him as a player. You know, did I write perfect lead guitar sections? Hell no. That was not my purpose. But I wanted Marzi to shine on this thing. So, I guess maybe in an unorthodox way. And as far as drums, you know, there was a point in time where I was very, very, I guess, you know, hating it, man. You know, I didn't want to put together another super group. So it's like, you know, I could have asked any number of drummers out there, hey, do you want to be in my band and play with me? And, you know, let's write some crazy music. But I didn't do that. I wanted to get lesser-known musicians, and the singer for Warbeast, Bruce Corbett, actually said, you know, Phil, why don't you ask Blue? Yeah, it's Jose Manuel Gonzalez. Everybody calls him Blue, like they call her Blue. He said, why don't you ask Blue if he wants to play? You know, so really, if, you know, I got to give big props to Warbeast and big props to Bruce for allowing Blue to come jam with me, because really he was very young. But I think when I first got a hold of him, he was like 19 years old. So he came from the school of really, you know, 4/4 thrash and 4/4 death metal. So me throwing curveballs at him in the form of different time signatures and stuff like that, you know, it was a challenge for him. Mm-hmm. It was a big challenge. So, you know, over the sessions and the recording, and now that we've been practicing a whole lot, I see his confidence level rising all the time. So he's very, very in tune, I guess, with the rest of us, and he's once again, his confidence level is great right now. So that's awesome. And as far as bass goes on the record, we had a guy named Bennett Bartley track the bass, but Bennett is the type of guy who plays in several different bands and holds down a regular job and stuff like that. So I totally respect that. And there was always, you know, a question of his availability in a live or touring situation. So, but never a question of his talent. So right now we're going with a guy who's been working with Marzi for a long time, and they play very tight together, and his name is Steve Taylor, and so he's been practicing with us, and he's real solid, and I feel real good about Steve, and he's a great guy, and I'm looking forward to jamming with him some more.
Now, the first leg of this tour, Technicians of Distortion, begins July 31st, and it wraps up late August. Now, you guys are hitting some clubs on this, and that's really awesome. I was going to ask you, do you prefer clubs, Phil, or does it really even matter to you?
Man, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. I like playing big festivals where there's 60,000 people, and I like playing tiny, fucking intimate, small shows where you know it's a different situation, but it's still a show, and the people that come out to a show deserve your best. Mm-hmm. So it makes no difference to me, man. I like it. I like it all. I've seen it all, and man, you know, that's not. You know, once again, popularity contests mean nothing to me at all. who's on top or whatever in the heavy metal world. It doesn't faze me in the least, or trends or anything like that. So my thing is, if those people come out to the shows, to our shows, it's because they want to be there and they know the songs and they like the songs. So it's so basically they deserve a damn good show. So hey man, I like it all.
I want to thank you for doing this interview with me. I've been a huge fan of you guys since the old days, since back in the 80s when you guys were doing your stuff then with Pantera. I just want to say that in the 90s you guys kicked ass and kicked the door in as Pantera. So thanks, Phil, and you guys for what you did to metal music and carrying the torch, and you're still doing it today. So thank you as a fan.
Hey, Boz, anytime, brother, and I totally appreciate that. It means the world, man. It really does.
I tell you what, before I let you go, how can people get a hold of you if they want to say, hey, Phil, we love your music, or pick up your merch, or with Housecore Records? How can they do that?
I'm a tough guy to get a hold of, man, but I know right now, because of the new record, there's stuff like this Twitter thing, which I'm... oh, God. I'm not a big tweeter guy, man, but I might send some messages out that away. But as far as people getting a hold of me, basically, I'll just say come out to the show, man, because I'll be hanging out, man. Just come up and say hi and let's shoot the shit, man. So come out and see me at some of these shows, man, and then I will be available, and let's shoot the shit, drink a beer, and talk about, turn me on to some new music, help me out, bring me your record. There's a lot of bands out there that, or let me put it like this, there's a lot of people out there that are in bands. Bring me a goddamn CD, man. It's like, turn me on to your music. I listen to everything I get, because I'm always searching, man, always. As a music fan, you gotta keep searching. Mm-hmm. So come on out and see the old man. I
agree, definitely. There's abundance of great music out there that's not discovered yet, especially bands.
Yep.
I got some that I'll play on here that are really good, some locals. So there you go.
Well, shit, man. Come on out to the show and bring a bundle for me of all these bands, man. I'd like to sample some of it myself.
Awesome. Phil, man, once again, thank you for doing this interview with me, and best of luck to you guys on this new album. And would you care to do a promo for the show before I let you go, if that's cool?
Sure, man. Tell me what to say.
Just say, this is Phil Anselmo, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
This is Phillip H. Anselmo, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hell yeah. Thank you, man, so much again.
You got it, brother. Anything for you.
Appreciate it. Guys, stick around, because we got some music from the Illegals, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thanks, guys. Have a rockin' weekend.